So I'm sitting here with my friend Kev. We are discussing now internet privacy for my class, my online final. So Kev, has your privacy on the internet ever been violated?
Um, no, not. I don't think so. At least not
You've
really.
never been caught having your identity stolen or anything like that?
No,
Okay, so do you have any problem with any internet sites using your personal information to gain access?
I want sites to have my personal information because it saves me time from having to enter it.
To enter your information, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you're signing in on Google, it just
Right.
has your password
Yeah.
saved and everything.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how it's always been for you, right? In this kind of technical,
I don't
logical.
even know some of my passwords to some of my accounts because it's just stored on there.
Okay. Yeah, and I agree with that as well. Have you ever played any contests or played any games or registered on sites that actually ask you to disclose specific information,
Yes.
and especially for emails?
Yes.
And you are a Las Vegas citizen, correct?
I am a resident of Las Vegas.
So, have you had to register for any online games in terms of gambling?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
what kind of information do they ask you to register for that?
Your physical street address, email,
What about your social security number?
definitely social
They
security.
do ask you for that.
For sure.
Do they ask you for a copy of your ID?
Mm,
Some?
no,
No, they do not.
no,
Your social security.
just my social.
Okay. Do you think that they're selling your information to advertisers?
I don't think the casinos would be selling my information.
No.
They just don't need. It's Vegas. They know they got it good. They don't need to
Right. They don't need to
prod and pry into people's.
hand out your information and
Right,
sell it to other
right.
people, unlike other aspects of the internet where
100.
that's all they do.
Absolutely.
Now, that doesn't bother you, right?
No.
You're just more comfortable with signing up and being able to place your bets at any
Right.
way possible. Now, if they were to sell your information, would you feel uncomfortable? Would you feel comfortable, or would you care less?
It's business. I mean, it's 2019.
Right.
Everything is gonna be, targeted
Right.
towards certain, and I understand that. So, if I'm gonna be looking at ads and stuff, might as well be something that interests me.
So you have other outside, you're not just a degenerate gambler that gambles all day. You do
No.
have other forms of
No.
the online
Although
world.
people might not. We do other things in Vegas.
Okay, cool. So we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
But you have Reddit, you have other social media platforms.
Yeah.
Have you realized any of your advertising has been targeted for your past searches or your purchases that you've made in the past?
You know, it has to be because, honestly, at this point, I'm just conditioned to. I don't even pay attention
Right.
to the advertising, and it doesn't affect me.
And you're 30 years old, correct?
Yeah.
So this has kind of been a thing for
It's not what the advertisers necessarily want to hear,
right.
but
They have to make a living as well, right? And so it doesn't really. It's something you don't even. It doesn't even phase you. It's just. It's just there.
and the ad execs will tell you that that's exactly what they want.
Right.
That's what their job is for me to subconsciously, without even realizing I'm being subjected to the advertisement.
Right.
But
That-
I don't feel it has an effect on me.
Now, do you have any? Well, okay, with those other platforms that you've registered for in Gmail or Reddit or anything like that, do you think that comes with increased spam in your inbox for your email?
Yeah, I would think so.
And does that?
If they have your information, they're gonna blast you.
But for you
That's what they're
specifically,
paying for.
do you think? Have you seen any difference in your inbox and spam?
Maybe, but for stuff like logins and stuff, I have a dedicated email that I use
That goes right there.
that I don't check.
Now, do you get? Do you have any issue with spam in terms of pop-ups or side adverts? Same thing, right? It's the same kind of criteria. They're still targeting you, correct? And it's based off what you're searching now. Would you do anything to change being online? If there's one thing that you could, in terms of privacy or or your searches, is there anything you would do differently? Would you have any limit to what things people could say online? Or do you believe the online world?
So I'm a little. I've seen the Gilded Age of the internet, and I think it's people are afraid of it still being the wild, wild west,
Right?
Like it was in the '90s and stuff. But I'm from the camp of it is what it is. Like it's hard to now go and try and censor and pull the reins back on what the internet is and try and regulate it now.
With outside of the privacy issues and having spam mail and anything, do you think social media is good or bad for the online experience?
For me, I feel like it has a negative impact.
Any specific reasons?
I just think people, they're not. It's almost like they're being rewarded for having these just outlandish takes and shock jock values that there's no consequence in the immediate. But I mean, if you just look like schools, bullying,
right?
Clearly, there's an effect,
right,
being had. I just think it's weird. It's a weird phenomenon that we're so interested in what somebody I went to high school with that I never talked to. We have these negative emotions on our own because all we do is look and judge ourselves to others. It just doesn't make sense to me. So for one thing, no, I don't think it's a positive.
Do you think people, when they say things that are considered hate speech, should their privacy be thrown out the window to be surveilled at a higher level? Let's say a white supremacist or an anti-Semite on Reddit, on a Reddit thread. Do you think his online privacy should be the equivalent of ours?
There's a what do you call it? Dozing or something like that?
Dozing?
Doxing someone? No.
Are you from the school of freedom of speech? Whatever goes, goes.
Yeah, I just think
which is fine.
It's hard to just now all of a sudden we're gonna pick and choose
right
who to regulate and what to regulate.
Right.
And the monkey's got the cat's out of the bag.
Right. And at the end of the day, we still have free speech, whether it's on the internet or where it's not. But now, do you think your privacy online infringes upon your freedom, the freedoms that the U.S. Constitution entails? Meaning, privacy of home, being in the privacy of your home, not having your data sold.
I think we have to be more smart.
Now, the tech gurus or the
just
society?
I'm responsible for me.
Right.
You're responsible for you. You can't just. It's your job to protect your privacy and
right.
your information. You can't just expect somebody to do it for
someone's platform.
I mean, it's really
you do agree to their terms,
right? And the safest way to be safe is
to do it. Yeah.
To not be involved with that.
So to be clear, it's basically you're so immune and numb to having your privacy put out on the internet.
It's not something, honestly, I even
lose sleep about. Okay. And about at the 9-minute mark, I want to thank you for your time. And this has been Interview 1. Thank you.